today we have got Ganesh Pai with us, the founder of don'tmemorize.com. The name which easily resonates to anyone who would like to learn something and memorize. Ganesh comes out and says that you don't have to memorize anything. It's just don'tmemorize.com, and he has been helping students predominantly in India, but he has been quickly acquiring a base across the globe in terms of EduTech, and he's been funded by YouTube and Google recently, and he's in a tremendous growth path. So let's hear from Ganesh Pai.
Thanks, Vijay, for having me.
For the viewers, if you can just give a gist of what is don'tmemorize.com and how you ended up starting don'tmemorize.com, it will be great.
Sure. So I'll have to take you back by 6 years, when I was having a conversation with my dad. I think you know about the story, right? Yes. So I was saying that, hey, I want to get into education. I want to quit my job, and I want to have, say, maybe 4 or 5 brick and mortar centers, so that I could teach probably 50 students in the first year. And then eventually I'll end up teaching maybe 500 students, maybe 1,000 students. That was the goal I had, to which, my dad replied, why just 1,000, why not millions? And that's when I realized that, hey, if I really want scale, if I really want to help more number of students, I have to go online. I have to use technology in some form or the other. That's how I started creating educational videos. While I was studying, of course, I had this idea that maybe I should go live, but the scalability with live is lower, which is why I thought, why not go ahead with just creating video content, and you just have to do it well. You have to do it well once, and you're seeing the results now, right? So that's how the idea was kind of germinated, and I realized that, hey, if I want to teach millions, I should probably go online. And without giving it much thought, I started creating educational video content. That's how it started. I did not, have this goal or this vision to make a startup out of it, or to say generate business out of it. It was just like, hey, I'm really excited to do this. And I started working on it. I started creating content. And I think 3-4 years down the line, I realized that a lot of people are appreciating the content that we have created. A lot of companies started getting in touch with us saying, hey, can we license content from you? Like, can we show your content on our website, and we're ready to pay you for that. And that's when I realized that, hey, there's a lot of value in what we're doing. And if we are able to make, say, business out of it, if we're able to generate revenues, sustain and create more content, then why not start doing it? So that's how, like, maybe 3 years down the line, I thought maybe, okay, let's probably create a startup, and see how things go, and so I'll just for our viewers to understand what Don't Memorize is all about. I think they need to understand what the startup is all about, what the business is all about. And for that, I need to tell them, the different ways in which we generate revenue. Okay, and I'll keep it very simple. There are just 4 ways in which we do that. First, the most important source of revenue we have is we license our content to various organizations. So some of the top EdTech companies within India are using our content and on their website. So the benefit for them is they don't have to spend a lot of money to create the content again. The benefit for us is that we make revenues. So the idea was to help many more organizations enhance their education technology product. So that's the first source of revenue we have. We upload around 20% to 25% of our content on YouTube. That's the only way in which we market our content, because YouTube is the best free marketing platform you have for videos. So we generate some ad revenue from there. That's the second source of revenue. The third source of revenue is, like you said, like we've raised money from, say, YouTube. So YouTube has given a grant to us over the past 2 years. They've given us 2 grants actually, and we were one of the top 7 to 8 companies to be selected by YouTube for those grants. Really? So the support that we get from Google and YouTube is probably the third source. And the fourth source is something that we just started about 3 months ago. So to access all the content, we've kept a very nominal fee for our students. So people can log on to don'tmemorize.com, register there, uh, and subscribe to the courses. So that revenue source, I believe, will help us sustain and will help us grow. So for complete access to the whole library and many more features, students should subscribe to our courses on, say, don'tmemorize.com. So I'd say these are the 4 ways in which, say, we kind of generate revenues to sustain and to grow. And I think the journey and the goal that we had of, say, teaching millions, that has already been done. Like, we've crossed uh, over 110 million views on our YouTube channel. So that means approximately we've already educated close to, say, 3 to 4 million students. So that's something that I have already done. That's something that my team has let me do. And now the dream is bigger. Now the dream is probably I want to someday educate a billion learners. And that's the quest, that uh, we have right now, and we're going to achieve that. I don't know how much time it's going to take. It would be very tempting to say that we're going to achieve this in the next 5 years, but I don't think it's going to be easy. We're going to, say, work much harder, and I think over the next, say, probably 10 years, we are able to educate, say, a billion learners, in this world. And that's the dream that I have for Don't Memorize.
Awesome. So from a discussion of having a standard brick and mortar model and helping out, say, 50 to 60 students in a year, from there to helping out, say, million students, it's been a great journey in the last 5 to 6 years.
Absolutely.
Yes, I was looking at a lot of channels and YouTube channels and things like that, where they talk about EduTech in India, and still they don't end up talking about you. So I thought it's high time that people start. Though I know that you got a huge subscriber base and things like that, but the mainstream, I think people should know about Don't Memorize.
To answer your question, right? Like, people don't talk about Don't Memorize, a lot. You hear about a lot of other EduTech players, and not really about Don't Memorize. I think I know why that is happening. I I had this feeling that, people, or, say, news websites, or, say, anyone who's covering news basically talks about startups because, say, the startups are generating a lot of value. Startups are helping a lot of people. But the more I got into it, the more I realized that it's a lot of PR spends that various startups do, and other websites start writing about them. So I don't believe that we really need to spend money on PR, and we should let our work do the talking rather than, say, various startup news websites. So which is why we've not invested a lot of money in PR, which is why you won't hear a lot about Don't Memorize. I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea to invest in PR. Of course you can, but I just don't think it's the right time probably for us to do that. But sometime in the future we may do that, because visibility always helps. But the main reason why you won't hear about Don't Memorize is because, yes, we are not investing any kind of money in PR. Otherwise, I think things are going great with Don't Memorize. Our viewership has increased significantly during um, this pandemic time. It's unfortunate whatever is happening in the world. A lot of people have lost jobs. A lot of sectors are not really doing well. So I hope the world recovers fast, and and things get better soon. But if I have to talk specifically about EduTech, yes, my viewership over the last few months has increased, I think, close to 225%.
Wow.
So our YouTube channel is doing phenomenally, and I think students are saying a lot of good things, and even teachers have started saying a lot of good things. And we've started noticing that teachers are using our tutorials to teach their students, which is interesting, in a way, because then that shows us that teachers really believe in our ideas, our concepts, the way in which we deliver concepts. So that's also a good thing, and yeah, overall, I think the viewership has shot up significantly, and now is the right time, I think, for us to step up our game and generate more content so that we could help more students and teachers, to quickly adapt to, say, the online model. The shift from, say, the physical classroom to the online classroom has been pretty quick for plenty of people, for plenty of students and teachers, and we want to be there to help them out.
Great.
So we want to be there. That's the whole idea, and I think it's going great.
For a startup like you, and you spoke about that you have not invested in PR and marketing activities, which definitely you have your own thoughts of how to go about it. It is interesting that now when people listen to your story and that you are garnering a million views and YouTube has invested and things like that, people will be definitely thinking that okay, this is a great big startup and there will be hundreds of people are working under Ganesh and things like that. Talk about your team size and how effectively, or I would say that this is one of the startups I would put as a great example of lean management. So if you can talk about your team.
Sure. So yeah, people get this feeling, that the team is huge and plenty of people are working. To give you a very quick idea of, say, how small my team is, my team, like, we are an 18-member team at the moment. But there's this beauty in which the way Don't Memorize really functions. So the team that we have, the full-time team that we have, like people who would call employees, uh, including me, are close to 18, and the roles are, say, tech, marketing, sales, and I'd say quality control. So QC, like quality control, is like one of the most important things you have to focus on. Most important things, like, I feel like if you're able to take care of the quality while you are scaling, I think the startup has won the game. These are the problems that startups face when they scale. The quality drops.
Yes.
So that's the team that we have in house, right? The full-time team. But we are working with more than 50 people on the outside, right? We are working with a lot of animators, a lot of illustrators, and a lot of content creators that are not really employed by us, but are working with us, because they are independent. I would call them entrepreneurs as well, so they have their own setups, and we approach them and we tell them that, hey, this is where we need help. Would you be willing to work with us on this project? And that's how they are working with us. So the beauty there is that model of, say, working with animators, illustrators, and content creators who are not, say, employed by us, is that it's more scalable. So it's good for them and it's good for us as well. It's good for them because they are kind of building their own companies, their own setup, and that doesn't happen if you're an employee with a company, right? So they are becoming entrepreneurs. We're enabling them to become entrepreneurs, to have their own setups, and the advantage for us is that is more scalable. So I can have an animator who's working probably in the US, who's doing animation for us. I could have an illustrator who's from, I don't know, Bangladesh, who's a genius, who's very creative, who's working with us. So it helps us scale on the product development side, and it helps us scale on the content creation side as well, because even the content creators, the good content creators, like, the problem with, say, having an employee, this was pre-COVID time, is that you need to look for someone who stays in your locality, right? Like, nobody's going to, like, if that employee is based in Delhi, he's not going to travel to work in Bombay, right? So we wanted the content creators to work from anywhere with the Witch 2, which is why, you could have them work from anywhere in the world. And it's, so this whole model of having a few people in house and a lot of people working with the company externally is, I think, beneficial for everyone, because they are, like I said, become entrepreneurs, and all of them are making a lot more money than how much money they would if they were employed with us. And we are able to scale, say, the business much faster. So to answer your question, the actual team size is 18, but the number of people working with us is massive. And I consider them also to be a part of, say, our team. The only difference is, on paper, they are not employees, but they're still very close to us, and we really want to work with them for, say, the longer term.
Great. So the second point that because since it's edutech and one of your rather I would say your prime target segment or the customers I would say are parents and students. Students, yes, they would what do you call? They want they should like your content, and parents, they should be ready to invest in you in terms of taking the subscription and things like that. The next point that comes to the mind of parents is the money that goes into any edutech platform. Currently, when we talk about the predominant edutech platforms which are there in India, the rate averages around 40,000 to 50,000 in a year. Talking about the INR. But
Yes.
you have come out with a plan which is way cheaper than that. So can you talk about your what is the monetarily how much hit will a parent take if they are getting attached to don'tmemorize.com?
Okay. That's a very valid question you're asking, Vijay. Yes, the average say pricing, right, for edtech products in India, it ranges from, like you said, like 30,000 to, say, it goes up to 1.5 lakhs also,
Yes.
like 150,000 INR. I would not comment about whether that's right or wrong. I think it depends on every company. If there are buyers, probably the companies are going to spend on marketing and convince you to buy. You know, but I have a different point of view here. For that, we need to understand the type of company that we're trying to build. You know, what we are trying to build is a product company, and the beauty of having a product company is that you have to create something just once. If you have to create something once, it means your prices cannot be high, right? It's a very logical thing to, you know, understand that if I'm creating something once, that then I'm not going to charge them a lot of money, right? So the videos that we have created it once. Of course, you spent a lot of money to do that, but you've created it just once, which means ideally there should be, the price point should be very affordable. That's the beauty of creating products and being in education. Now, if I have to create something once, I have to create a product and charge students like 150,000 for it. The only reason why I would charge that is because I'm spending a lot of money on marketing. That's the only reason why I want to cover costs. Because we don't really spend a lot of money on marketing, we are able to have a price point that teachers. So our price point annually averages, say, between 2 to 3,000 INR, right? And that is something that parents are able to afford. And the reasons are, there are two reasons for that. Reason number one is, I told you, like, they've created a product once, and which is why I'm able to keep the price point. Second, it's education, you know. So because it's education, I would not want to charge a lot of money, you know, to students. It has to be on the lower side. So those are the 2 points why we have kept our price points really low. And third, how we are positioning ourselves, right? So we are positioning ourselves as not someone who's going to replace your school or replace your tuition teachers. We are positioning ourselves as, say, your teacher in your pocket. You know, so imagine, like, you have doubts, right, throughout the year. What do you really do? You know, you cannot call your tuition teacher, you cannot call your school teacher and stuff, right? So to answer those queries, maybe we are there. You don't remember a concept, you open the Don't Memorize website, and which the app which will launch soon probably, and just, you know, look for Newton's first law of motion and you understand. So we want to be there on the side. We're not saying we want to be the main guys. You know, though most people are using it as, say, a main product, but where we want to position ourselves is, you know, hey, if you are in trouble, we are there. One, and if you want to understand concepts in depth, of course, we're still there. But we want to be like a tutor in your pocket, you know, and for that, parents will be willing to spend 2,000 rupees annually. It's not a lot of money.
I like the way you put it across in terms of tutor in your pocket.
Yeah.
And when someone can, if any of the people who are interested about Don't Memorize, when they go and check your even the website, in that also you are not saying that you're going to come and replace the teachers or the educators out there. You are saying that
That's not
we are
at all.
going to enhance, or rather be a person or a tool which can help you to clarify your doubts. So that's how you have positioned it. And uh, what do you call, I like the way in which you say that the Indian education is good. They are teaching really well. We are just there to help you in terms of clearing your clarifying your doubts, uh, and 24 by 7, whenever you want.
So just to add to this, I was telling you about product companies, right? So because we're a product company, we can keep the price points low. So if there's a product company in the market who's kept the price points really high, there's a problem. There's a problem. They'll do well. They'll make a lot of money. Their valuations will be very high, but it doesn't make sense according to me. The other kind of companies are, say, service companies. So for example, if I'm going to teach students live, right, it means every time I have to teach them, I have to put in more effort, right? So what happens in that case is it's not very scalable, and it's not a product. It's more of a service that I'm giving them. I'm teaching you live. So if I have to give them, like if I have to teach them, say, 22 times in a year, then I have to be there 22 times.
Yes.
And next year, again, I have to be there 22 times, right? So it's not a product that I've done just once. So for that, yes, I understand the price points being higher because you have to keep doing the work to generate
Yes.
more money. Right? So in that case, I understand if price points are high, still not significantly high. But that's the difference. You're more of a product company, which is why price points are not very high, and I don't intend to make them high at all for the product that, say, we want to give to our students.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure that people who have been using Don't Memorize, say for the last 2 to 3 years, even when you came out with this pricing model very recently, you ended up giving a huge discount for them. And I think people who were part of Don't Memorize, the journey of don'tmemorize.com, they were getting, I think, for 1 year for around 300 to 400 rupees, which is like going out and picking up a pizza from Domino's. So that's the cost you're charging for a year of knowledge that you're imparting to the students. So that's great.
Yeah, and I'd like to tell you why. Sorry to interrupt you, Vijay, but I'd like to tell you why we really did that. A lot of people started raising questions like, Ganesh, why are you doing this? That is just like $300 a year. So before this, right, before we had a price point, like, to be honest, we had a lot of confusion. Should we use the B2C model? Should we have the fourth source of revenue? And we decided that it's better to have the fourth source because that is the most stable source, which will help us in the future.
Right.
And that will help us create more content. So a lot of people were studying on the website before we moved to this model. A lot of people, right? And suddenly we did not want to stop their learning by putting a massive price barrier. At the same time, we did not want to give everything to them for free, because things lose their value if you give everything for free, right? So we thought we don't want to stop their learning. So we just stepped in and said, hey, we're giving you a 90% discount, just $300. And, and you pay us that and you get access for the entire year. And we didn't want to stop your learning. So people were very, very surprised. And I'm not sure if it was the right move or the wrong move. We did what we really wanted to do. We did what our hearts, asked us to do. And that's what we did. So that's the reason why we had like massive discounts for the users who were a part of the Don't Memorize journey for a very long time.
Great. So there is nothing called as a free lunch, as everyone says. So yes. So even for that price, even if you don't give that discount, and for the new students, I will not say customers. So the new learners also, 3,000 it's a throwaway price. It's like and you're getting a huge knowledge database that you can access for a year's time. So which is definitely short, which is worth giving for all the parents out there. But anyways, so let me take you to the current scenario. The last 6 months, COVID hit, and that's when people realized that online digital platforms should be used for the teaching students. And luckily in India, what happened is that at least major areas of India, April, May, June, somewhere or the other, 2 months of summer vacations and things like that. So schools were not really though they were trying for different channels to get connected with them, but still they were at ease. But in the last 1 or 2 months, with all the schools opened across India, a lot of teachers are struggling. They are struggling, and I could see that now we have come back and started giving back to the society in a nice way in terms of how to use YouTube and Google classrooms and things like that. So why did you decide to come out and start helping teachers out there?
The main reason is, I think, very evident. I think it was a part of your question. Teachers are struggling, and when either teachers or students struggle, right? There's something that makes you help them. I don't know. It kind of comes naturally to us, and I'm not trying to be like a hero here, but we just felt the teachers are struggling. Let's do something to help them out. And we, with support from Google and YouTube, again, we were able to create these tutorials. We told them that this is what you want to, and they were like, okay, we are willing to support you. And we created these 26 tutorials, 13 in English and 13 in Hindi. And they focus on two areas. One, how teachers could use YouTube, and two, how teachers could use Google Classroom to teach their students. Both were crucial because a lot of teachers want to create videos, start a YouTube channel, but they have absolutely no idea about how they could do it. And a lot of teachers also are kind of forced to use Google Classroom to teach their students. And we wanted to have basic tutorials for that as well. So we started doing that, and to answer your question, why? Of course, we just felt like helping them out. And I think it's received like a phenomenal response. Like in the first 3 weeks, the first video got like 110K views. That has never really happened with Don't Memorize, because educational content grows slowly. It doesn't grow in the first 1 or 2 weeks. So that kind of, showed us that there's massive demand in the market, and we are out there to help. And what was interesting was that the CEO of YouTube, Susan, retweeted about this, and that kind of told us that, hey, YouTube is very happy again with what we are doing and how we are helping teachers. YouTube or Google in general is very happy about this. And Susan tweeted about this, and we were like, wow, this is massive. And I think I wrote a post on LinkedIn about it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And a lot of teachers are being helped, so times were tough, and we thought, rather than just all other companies started pushing their products onto the market. So we did something radically different. We thought, we'll just help them out. First, let them start working on the basics, and let them start improving or learning their basics, and then we'll think about a product. So again, not sure if this was the right or wrong move, but we did something that our heart asked us to do. Our hearts, asked us to do. So that was the goal. We just wanted to help the teachers. It's very simple. It was just one point.
Great. Because before doing this interview today, I was listening to your, or rather watching to your whole session that you did for the teachers for the last 1 hour, and you have put it very in a very simple and effective manner. You have put it in addition to teachers who want to go into a YouTube channel. So I've been seeing that there is a tremendous increase in the number of people who have started putting up YouTube channels now, sitting at home because of COVID and things like that. Either the creativity with the kids, or their own cooking skills, or dancing stuff and things like that. So I understand that there's going to be, or rather, in the last 3 to 4 months, the number of YouTube channels would have gone up drastically. And I think for them also, if they listen to your session for a half an hour or 1 hour, they could pick up the basics of how to put up a video, and how to reach out to people, and what are the tags. And I like the way you have put it in terms of there is a lot to learn. Even for a good YouTuber, there are a lot of things, the basic hygiene stuff they have put it has been done in a very effective manner. So
Yes.
From here, yeah, so I'll take you to the point wherein you spoke that in the last 3 months or 4 months, when the COVID hit, you have grown 225%. So tell us more about that, because you were working from from office setup, and then suddenly everything closed down, and still you managed to create content, or rather start putting up more content, and then you are growing, and the consumption was also significantly going up. So how did you keep pace with that?
So there were no significant changes in our production plan. We just continue to create great content, and we'll continue to do so. It was irrespective of whether there was COVID or not. Uh, the consumption though that you spoke about, it just increased, it just shot up, and we thought of giving something more. So we started a new series on YouTube called 1 minute bites, that so that students could learn quickly in a minute, teachers could learn, they could show interesting facts to students. That was the major change we had on our YouTube channel. uh, Apart from that, I think content wise, we do have a lot of backlog which we're going to release slowly and steadily. Um and we'll grow, right? But consumption wise, like I said, the viewership just shot up, 225%. So I don't remember the exact numbers we had 4 or 5 months ago. I think I can do the math and tell you later. But as of today, we get close to 250,000 views every day.
Wow.
That's like a million views in 4 days. So uh, that that is just helping us grow, and that kind of viewership is something that we never really got ever, in the past 4 years of having our YouTube channel. So that's where we stand currently, only on our YouTube channel. The viewership that we're getting is close to like 250,000 views every day, and that is just helping us grow. And now we have realized that YouTube is a main platform for us marketing wise. And like we spoke about PR and stuff. I think YouTube is the place from where people will hear about Don't Memorize. So you ask students who are studying on YouTube, they'll know about Don't Memorize, right? But if you look at these news websites, you may not hear about Don't Memorize at all. So that's how the journey has been. So from where we were to a quarter of a million views every day, that's how we have grown during the pandemic.
Yes. So see, when I spoke to you, say I think some 8 to 9 months back, and that's when you emphasized on the quality of content, and you told me that you keep putting quality content on YouTube, and YouTube will slowly and steadily understand that and start pushing your content to the viewers. I think that is the way in which you believed in that, and that has helped you grow tremendously for the last 3 to 4 years, and definitely in the last 3 to 4 months also. People who have got quality content out there, they will definitely grow, is what you have shown to the world. That PR and marketing, yes, they are required at some point in time, but if you have got quality content, even the big players like YouTube will start pushing your content. That's really nice to know that about that.
Absolutely. I have no doubt about that at all. So if there are future content creators or future educators who are watching this, the goal is very simple. And I think this, like everybody knows about this, but people hear about it, but they don't implement it. Like it's absolutely simple. You create great content, you will win. The only difference is some win sooner, some win at a later time. But the goal is very simple. Just create great content, and you will eventually get there.
Great. Tell me about your plans in terms of now. Your dream is to now reach up to 1 billion students or learners out there. So how is your plan for the next, at least for the short term plan of next 6 months, and long term for the next 2 to 3 years? What's your plan?
So there are two things we would need. I realized, when I was making notes, two primary things you would need if you really want to educate a billion learners. First, you need more content, right? So there's no question about it. That if you don't have more content, I mean, the lesser content you have, the smaller your audience is. The wider range of content you have, the wider will be the range of audience that you have. So the first thing that we need is more content. And for us to create more content, the team model that I told you about, wherein a lot of external people start working with us, that's a scalable model, right? So in order to create more content, we have to build a scalable model when it comes to creating content, and we've already been doing that. The second, and again a very important thing, is creating content in different languages. So we, again, with help from YouTube and Google, we were able to start our Hindi and Marathi channels. So to give you an idea, having content in Hindi gives you access to 400 million more people who would not have understood your content in English.
Wow.
So there lies like half your chunk half of your target base, So we started creating content in Hindi, and I think we'll touch 20,000 subscribers. It's a pretty new channel, and we've reached 20,000 there, and soon we'll reach 100K and then millions again, through our Hindi content. So we started fixing that as well. We have content in Hindi, we have content in Marathi. We may start having content in other languages as well, so we may start having content in maybe Spanish. Spanish is also a language that is spoken a lot, all across the globe. So you'd probably target Spanish next, and that's the second important thing that we're trying to do, right? Content in different languages. If you're able to do these two, I think it'll help us reach our goal of, say, educating 1 billion learners sooner. Apart from that, yes, there are other secondary but important things that we need to work on. We need to work on some tech, for a platform. We need to invest some money in marketing. We need to invest some money probably in sales and stuff. So of course, these other things will help us with outreach, like good tech. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's good tech, there's marketing, there's innovative marketing, growth hacking and stuff that will help you to teach. There are probably 1 billion learners in the future. But to answer your question, there are two primary things that we have already started working on. That is create content fast and create content in different languages. And the secondary things we're gradually working on them, like better tech, better sales, better marketing. And that will help us reach, say, teach 1 billion learners in the coming years.
Great. So for every startup, at the end of the day, money matters. Okay. I know that YouTube has funded you, and there are a couple more other investors on board. Are you looking for new investors to come in, or you are happy with the current set of investors? Or not say happy. I will not put it as a happy. Definitely, you will be happy. I would say, are you gonna stick to this thing, or you are open to more investors now?
So over the past 6 months, it has been very interesting. A lot of VCs have actually approached us. Of course, they're not big VCs, but a lot of VCs have approached us saying, "Hey, we are looking to fund you. Are you interested?" And I have said no, right? Because if I want a VC on board, if I want an investor on board, I want the investor to be invested, not just money-wise. So that's a bit tricky, because I would want some kind of strategic alliance to be there in place as well. So to answer your question, if you're looking to raise money, not really. Will we raise money? Probably yes. We are. It's almost done. Like, we're working with this VC called Edupreneur Village, and they are looking to fund us. But there is a significant chance of having strategic alliances there, because they have a lot of connect with schools and a lot of connect with teachers, so we would like to utilize that platform that they have to grow, our user base. So we'll be raising some money from them, and they'll probably be our third investors, or fourth, if I assume, say, YouTube to be one of the investors. So so are we actively looking for a lot of money, to raise a lot of money? No, because I think we are a company that is doing well, that is generating profits. So we are not really in need of money at the moment. But we will be raising money through Edupreneur Village, like I told you.
Amazing, Ganesh. When startups are going out and spending a lot of money in marketing and struggling to break even, now here is a startup from a small, I will not say small city, semi metro city of Thane, and who are saying that, oh, hey, we are not looking for VCs or investors. We have already into profits, and we will decide who comes on board and who will help us be a strategic partner. That's amazing to listen to a startup saying that.
Yeah, it's not a very cool model to have, though. Again, it doesn't sound cool at all, that you're growing slowly, steadily, and running a profitable company. What is cool is burning a lot of money currently. So
Correct.
Everybody who raises money starts burning like lots of it just for growth and not being profitable. It's a model that probably VCs like, because it's fast growth. We will not be comfortable with that model. I am pretty sure about that. We'll not be good at it because it's not in our DNA. So we want to grow slowly, steadily, add a lot of value for our students, and that's how That's how we would like to grow in the coming years.
Great. I will wind up this session in say next 4 to 5 minutes. So I would say that there are talking specific to YouTube because a lot of content is on YouTube, and definitely your website is the new look website is looking really good. But in specific to YouTube, we have got gamers coming into YouTube. We have got different professionals, or I would say freelancers, coming into YouTube and doing a lot of stuff. I think you would fit into a section of YouTubers which I think going forward would be called as EduTubers or something like that, who come and talk about education and knowledge and things like that. And I think it's high time people realize that EduTubers can actually do a lot of things and help to get a better generation coming up. And because at the end of the day, knowledge and education is required for kids to understand where they want to go, learn definitely, but at the end of the day, if they are not able to explore different areas, then I would not say that everyone will become a doctor or engineer, things like that, but at least the basics have to be clear. And I think edutubers would be doing a wonderful job in helping people reach out to that. That is one. But before I conclude the session, I just want to understand, because still in India there are a lot of people who are not able to access to internet, and there is a lot of issues in terms of the internet connectivity and things like that. So is there something that you have in mind to help out that sector of students or learners?
So yeah, I'll talk about both the points. First is a point of being an edutuber on YouTube. YouTube is going to focus significantly on the education sector in the coming 5 to 10 years. Significantly, and they're working with a lot of edutubers. They're assisting them, they're helping them grow, giving them tools that they need, that will help them grow on YouTube. And the difference, of course, is like with education, like people don't really have an intrinsic motivation to get onto YouTube and say, okay, I'll learn. It's something that you have to do, right? Like for most people, unless you're a geek, right? So which is why the growth is not as fast. Like you will see a few gaming channels. Like I know a few gaming channels who have crossed say 2 million subscribers in 2 years. That's crazy growth, right? That's not going to happen with education. If you start an education channel, you will not get 2 million subscribers in 2 years. Again, there could be exceptions, but that doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen at all. So the growth is slow, but the future is bright, is how I would put it. Your second, sorry, could you just repeat your second question, Vijay? I just.
So I was talking about the accessibility issues across.
Accessibility.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, it just struck me. Here's what I think. I think lack of accessibility to the internet is a pretty big issue at the moment. But I don't think it will be an issue in the coming 2 to 3 years, right? So in the next, say probably 3 to 5 years, we may not be talking about this issue, right? And for that, of course, we trust Geo, we trust the big industrialists, who are going to help us with the job of giving access to internet to all people in the society, all whether they are underprivileged or not, So my view is that in the next 3 to 5 years, this is not going to be an issue. It's an issue if you want to solve something that, if you want to solve a problem which is going to last over the next 3 to 5 years, yes, you should work towards it. But I don't see this as an issue because we are looking at the future, right? So if we start building something for offline, it would be a temporary issue that we are solving. But we would want to give access offline to our users through the app where they could download it, because of different, like other issues other than lack of internet. So some people like to watch content offline. It's like they download 10 videos onto their app and just watch it without access to internet, so that if the internet is slow. So of course we'll give that feature, but we're not going to build anything special because there is lack of access to the internet. That I feel is a very temporary issue, and it'll get sorted soon.
Great. And I think as you said that the geos and the big industrialists will definitely tap into that and plug the hole is what I will also assume in the next
Absolutely.
2 to 3 years. I would not say even 3 to 4 years. I think the market is wide open for them. So maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, I think with the optical fibers and things going across the rural
Oh,
areas, I think
absolutely.
things should be sorted out. Great. Uh, yes.
Absolutely.
I'll wind up the session. It was great talking to you, Ganesh. And I would conclude with your own words that the growth is slow, but the future is bright. And definitely don't memorize. The growth has been slow but significant in the last 6 years. And I think it's the right time for to see you tremendously growing from here on and reach that billion mark way before you are accept what you are expecting for another 4 to 5 years, but I think that you should be doing that in another 2 years time. So all the best to that journey.
Thanks, yeah, Vijay. I should definitely thank you because I think you are interviewing and talking to a lot of people who are doing great things in the society, and I've seen the list of people you have covered, and I think most of them are not spending on PR, right? So any kind of visibility that we get in this way, it really helps us. It helps us grow, and it kind of helps us believe that there are people who are willing to listen to our stories as well. And I should thank you for the opportunity, you know, uh, to because you've helped so many people, like I said, and the list is like I think never ending, and you're going to continue this, and you have been doing this religiously for a very long time. So good luck to you, and thanks again for the opportunity.
My pleasure, and for the thank you for the kind words.